right, we are back. We are here. We are live. PJ's busting out his air guitar like it's the real thing. You know he's lying to you, man.
I can't play guitar for shit.
But, man, we are very, very...
You look good.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I mean, I knew exactly what I was doing.
But we are very, very excited for this show. This is Hot Tag Takes. I am John BRECKO, PJ MORIN, coming all the way from Rawway to get to this show. You know he does that every time. Almost got arrested on the train ride here.
I
but
did.
It's okay.
I did.
What happened?
You got to tell them the whole story now.
So, hold on. Before I get into the story, guys, just listen. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment. Before we get this thing started, I just want to give you an official introduction. Last time I gave you a boring introduction, but this time, guys, we've had him on the show before. He's a swell guy. He's a funny guy. Everybody loves Raymond. Everyone give it up for Tommy Chong, everybody.
Woo! We're here. Let's go.
Please.
Was that
no standing ovations, please?
Thank you. Just let him curtsy for a second. Give him a second to breathe. Nah, the only reason why that wasn't boring is he's trying to hear how you almost got arrested.
So, yeah.
Let's be real.
So, that's a good thing to lead off with. Almost getting arrested on the way to the Chong interview. So, my phone died on the train, and I had the ticket on my phone, and it was before the conductor scanned my phone. And so that happened to me a few weeks ago, and usually, like, on the rare occasion that happens, they're like, oh, it's fine, like, it's whatever, because, it's a $5-8 train ticket. They're not gonna bust your balls over it. But this guy said, oh, listen, truthfully, it's not my problem that you got on the train with a dead phone. I was like, no, sir, I got on the train with an alive phone, and now it's dead. That's the issue here.
Exactly.
And he said, I had two stops left. I had Princeton, and I was getting off at Hamilton. And he said, listen, get off at the next stop, or I'm going to call the police.
And here's the thing, too. He calls me, wakes me up, too, everything.
My
the
bad,
whole
baby.
9. I'm answering the phone. I'm like, hello? And, like, he's sitting here telling me, hey, they're making me get off at Princeton. And he was sitting here probably with his chest out. You know what? If he wants to call the cops, I'm going to call the fucking cops. I'm like this guy. Having a full Timmy Tough Nuts moment on me.
Listen, I got a little peeved in the moment. But listen, here's the thing. The phone was dead. I played the game. I lost. I understand. He said, get off at the next stop or I'm going to call the cops. I was like, you know what? I'll just get off at the next stop. I'll figure it out. We pull up to Princeton, and there are cops on the platform. So even though he said, get off and I won't call the cops, he still called them anyway. And I told him before he got off the train to go to the cops. I was like, man, I'm going to do an interview. I can't be late right now. Like I have cash. I have my card. I'll do whatever. I can't. My phone's dead. He gets off the train. He starts talking to the cops. The cops are about to come on. This blessing savior of a guy, nice white dude in a yellow button-down shirt, comes up to me. He pulls out his wallet. He had 3 tickets in there. He said, where are you trying to get? I said, just the next stop, just Hamilton. He said, I have 3 tickets, just take one. I was like, man, I feel so bad taking you up on it, but thank you so much. This guy gave me the ticket. The cops motioned me to get off the train. I go up to them. I give the guy the ticket. I go back on the train, and then the cops start tearing this conductor's head off.
Hey, man, I got to tell you, I took a long shower. I was going to make you wait.
Listen, no, I mean, I respect that, but like it felt so good because it's like, listen, yeah, he's doing his job. He can technically do that, but over a single ticket.
That Canada?
Sorry,
you're talking about Canada?
No, this was right here.
No,
this
was here. This was on the way here, like an hour and a half ago.
Where's here? I'm not sure. Where
this
Here's
was
New Jersey.
It was on the train from Central Jersey to South Jersey.
Oh, so it's Jersey.
Yeah,
New Jersey.
But usually Jersey,
just a Jersey conductor that couldn't get his shit together. Huh?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
but
man.
that's where he went wrong, though. He said, if you get off at the next stop, I won't call the cops.
And then he called the cops.
And
anyway.
I was prepared. I was prepared to get off at the next stop.
Yeah.
But he still called them anyway.
I was prepared to make this man wait. I was going to have some fun with that.
I told my mother, and she was like, well, now, you know what? You messed up. Now this poor guy's going to get yelled at. I was like, listen, if he just didn't call the cops on the next stop like he told me he wasn't going to do, he would be fine. He wouldn't be getting in trouble. But now he's wasting police resources.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep
Well,
it
every
tight.
time,
Himself. What a narc.
every time they answer a call, that's a lot of money
Yeah.
down
Yeah,
the
man.
drain. Especially when it's bogus like that.
And
Oh,
you're
I
wasting.
thought you were going to say that you resisted. You did a sit down strike. And,
And now you're
I'll go
making
to jail
everybody
for my
wait.
principles.
I got damn near got stuck with obstruction for that one.
I'll tell you what though. He's just as bad because we had a show last night and I offered a place to crash. He was like, "Nah, I want to go home and get my bandana."
I did.
I was like, "That's a $9 train ticket equivalent." This fucking guy.
Hey, well, you need that bandana. You know, it's
That is a
part
pretty
of
nice
the look.
bandana.
yeah. For the interview, I had to get
And
the
you
hippie
know-
bandana.
Yeah.
You know, it's your long hair that's getting you all this shit. You know, if
Yeah.
you never had the long hair, they would just say, "Go ahead, no problem." You know.
Yeah.
See, I've never gone bandana hair. That I've never done.
I kind of rock it though. The hair and the beard have been getting a lot longer, and I don't hate it.
Well, you're going to get hassled, but as long as you know that.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
I'm gonna get a lot more flack.
Oh yeah. It's like being a black guy driving. You know, it's the same thing.
Yo, did I ever tell you when I was in the car with a comedian friend of mine, we were coming back up from South Jersey, and then this cop stopped us. And mind you, this was after like a really bad radio show I did where like I was the sidekick to the on-air host at the time, and I was fighting with this guy.
Okay.
You know, like before the show, and like he was just being an asshole to the guest I brought him. So I'm not in the best mood already. So this cop stops me, and he could probably tell I was like a little bit frazzled. I think something was wrong with my lights or whatever. So I'm talking to him. I'm even like explaining to him the situation that was going on in the day, and he was nice. He ended up letting me go. He was just like, "Hey, just get your lights fixed or whatever."
Nice.
And I'm over here sweating. I needed to take a breath, and I'm just like, "I'm sorry, dude. Just give me a second." He was like, "Nah, it's all right." I was like, "I need to make myself laugh." I'm like, "You know what? I bet that was probably worse for you, wasn't it?" Oh, but no.
Cool
but
cops are the best.
yeah, man. But I'm glad you were able to get out of that just fine. I'm glad you got your bandana. Everything worked out.
Right. I'm here.
No, but here's the thing that I got to ask Tommy Chong. And I actually meant to ask this the first time that I saw you, but we weren't able to get the chance to do that because, unfortunately, I had to go to work. So, and we had to end up wrapping up the show. But the first thing we got to talk about is the fact that, I heard you're reuniting with Cheech. You're putting the whole biopic together and everything. What can you tell us about the biopic with Cheech without revealing anything about the film? Obviously, we all got to go see it. I'm excited for it.
I am too.
Yeah, well, it's more than just a history lesson.
Yeah.
Which we did. It's turning out to be a pretty good movie. You see, a movie, you need conflict.
Yeah.
You need all that stuff.
Which there's history there. I'm sure you guys had that.
Yeah, if you get a couple of guys like Cheech and Chong, there's a good part, that everybody understands, loves, and accepts. It was the bad part that was never shown.
Yeah,
that
of course.
The filmmaker Dave and my daughter Robbie, they had a different vision, and so at first, this was like we started doing the documentary about 5 years ago, and it went real fast. When you're doing a documentary, you only a couple of days and you got the mic set up and you talk about your history and everything. And so we did all that. And so we were thinking, this is 5 years ago, we thought the documentary would be out, in a month or so after we did the recording. And then it didn't. It dragged on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then Dave, the filmmaker, says, "Okay, we got to shoot some desert scenes." And everybody, all of us were thinking, what? A documentary, you're just going to talk about, the usual.
It sounds like you guys didn't realize it was a movie.
Well, no, I didn't. And when I realized it, that's when I said, "Oh, I get it. I get it." Because I'm a movie maker. I'm a movie maker, you know, and I've done a few documentaries, you know, just kind of like the history, and we did it, like we did one for Geraldo Rivera. We did over the years, you know, because we were the bright, shiny new objects, you know, in the comedy world.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, and so when it came down to the documentary, then he wanted us to do this extra shooting in the desert, and that's where Cheech and I get together and we talk. But it's not a talk; it's more like an argument, a fight.
Okay.
And so the movie, it has a lot of conflict.
Okay.
Between Cheech and I, that we're never. It's still not resolved. You know, it's this stuff that like you guys would have.
Yeah.
Anybody, any put two people together anywhere, as nice as everything is, it's just as shitty somewhere else, you know?
Yeah. That's fair.
And so actually, bottom line, I talked to a couple of professional friends of mine back the other day, and the first thing they said is, "We saw your movie." Like they're up there, and I didn't, you know, when people say that, "Hey, I saw your movie," I don't say, "Well, what do you think?" Because, you know, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
You know, and so I didn't say anything, and they didn't offer anything, and so, but I saw in their eyes that it was more than a documentary.
Yeah.
You know, I could see, you know, that they're conflicted. And that's what you want to do when you show anything creative like that. You know, you got to have that whole thing. You know, life isn't just a bowl of cherries, as what's a Forrest Gump would always say. You know?
That's very true, though.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing the effect of the movie on people. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I gotta tell you, the whole desert scene thing is giving me Hangover vibes. Like, do you
I was thinking
feel
the
that?
same exact thing.
Okay.
I was thinking Hangover 3 specifically.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I know it can't be just me, but that's giving me Hangover vibes 100%. Like somebody's gonna be in a bag somewhere.
What a phenomenal movie Hangover was, huh?
Right?
100%.
I just watched all 3 of them like a month ago.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's because you're a
That's
youngin'.
the most perfect movie. Almost. There's a few, and Hangover is definitely one of them. See what they did? They put these little mysteries inside the mysteries.
Yeah.
You know? And so you're not opening a present, but then, oh, you got another one inside to open that too. And that's what good movies do.
When you
put a movie bring you up to the very end, and then you sort of like, oh, that was good. I want to see that again.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
100%.
That's what I'm doing now with Everybody Loves Raymond and 2.5 Men.
Mention that.
I'm studying them like a schoolboy. You know, I sit there and study the writing especially, because now I can see them over and over again. I can see there's a rhythm to sitcom writing. That's genius. It's genius.
100%.
And it's perfect. That's why they're so popular.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, he's right, and I'm trying to actually think about it in my head right now, right? Like, you get like 2 people together, you know, they have a conversation or a conflict, and somewhere in the middle they put like punchline after punchline after punchline.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like that's how they kind of do it.
Yeah,
there might be something I'm missing, you know, because I haven't really thought too much into it, but like having the conversation to like right now, like you kind of like see it, you know what I mean?
That's what I like about, so I'm 20. So when like The Hangover came out and Everybody Loves Raymond or I'm Still Standing or Big Bang Theory. I mean, I watched Big Bang as a kid, but all these other things I couldn't watch when I was younger just because I was too young to do it. But
I was about to say Big Bang Theory is not that bad.
Big Bang Theory I watched when I was a kid, but like 2.5 Men I never got to. Just because Charlie Sheen was a hot topic when I was younger, because he got busted with all of the tiger blood and everything. So my mom was like, let's not watch Charlie Sheen. Great and Scary Movie 3 though. But what's it called? I feel like the older sitcoms have a better rhythm to it because they were the ones who originated it, and now I feel like sitcoms now kind of die off after a season or two just because it's stale and repetitive because it tries to take from the older stuff and make it new, but it's the same thing at the end of the day.
I can tell he's got some thoughts on that.
Well, you know what the good always rises, you know, stays,
Yeah,
for sure.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, you're young Sheldon.
If it's that good, it's your favorite thing. You go to it because it's perfect.
Yeah,
That's why I watch. That's why I'm watching. And for a while there, I was a little prejudiced against Ashton Kutcher because when Charlie died, you know, when they couldn't put Charlie back on there, they took him out with a car crash. Then Ashton took over, and I was kind of like, I was in the Charlie camp, you know.
Yeah.
But now that the years have gone in between, and now I can see the genius. But John Cryer is really the 2.5 Men, the star, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
It was Charlie. Charlie was the star, but John Cryer carried into the Ashton thing. I mean, he is one of the greatest comedians that we have ever had.
Yeah.
You know, because he can do it all. Yeah, John Cryer, he sings, he can dance, and he's so good at comedy, especially self-depreciating, you know, where he's always the brunt of the joke. You know? He laid.
You know what it is? I feel like it's kind of a lot like how Big Bang Theory was set up almost, because I feel like Leonard was supposed to be like the main character.
Yep.
And then like Sheldon slowly took over.
Yeah. Actually,
Like
I think I read somewhere that Leonard was supposed to be the main character, and then he still stayed as one of the main roles, but then it transitioned
to Sheldon.
And that's
to where it ends with Sheldon.
How are you going to compete with a gay 6 foot whatever comedic genius? I mean, there's another. You talk about comedy genius.
Oh yeah.
And being as gay and being as crazy as he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a spinoff.
Yeah,
Young Sheldon. You had to see what was he like when he was a kid if he's like this now.
Right.
You can only knock on the door so many times before somebody gets curious.
And the thing is, you got to think he did such a good job in Big Bang Theory. You got to think the paycheck he gets from Young Sheldon just to narrate 6 lines an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's got to be insane.
Especially when it's about
those
contracts.
Those guys haven't worried about a paycheck for a long time.
That's true.
You know, the kind of money they make. You know, when I was in that '70s show.
Yeah.
There were hierarchies. Like I was asked about, Danny Masterson. He got popped for rape.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then there was this sort of like a minors. Everybody was upset that Ashton and Mila wrote letters, on behalf of Danny. And people,
they worked with him for years.
Yeah.
Well, idiots were saying, why would they do that? Why? They grew up with them. They're all kids. I watched Mila learn how to drive on the Paramount lot, with electric go-karts, the electric carts.
Yeah.
That's she learned how to drive to get her driver's license. She was so young, 14. And they were kids. They were all young kids. And but Danny's biggest problem, I hate to say this, but was his involvement with the Church of Scientology. That's what got him. That's what got him where he is.
Yeah. All right.
Because Scientologists, they've got this sort of macho attitude about anybody else that's not Scientology. You got to believe that.
That's
shit,
true.
Or else you suffer. Right. And that was the only problem with Danny. Danny was a very strict Scientologist.
Okay.
Yeah, one time I had a cold, and Danny said, you got to go get a vitamin C drip, intravenous, get rid of the cold. And I did it, and it did. I got rid of the cold, but there's a sort of like it's a godless, the Scientology. It's like a cult,
a little bit,
and those cults are creepy.
Yeah. Nah, you can't do that. And I'm kind of putting it together like, they're dragging him in some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they believe that they're somehow, they're gods or something, and everybody else, that not, then I don't know. It's just kind of scary. Any dealings I ever had with Scientologists or anybody that sort of on the wrong path of spiritual belief or spiritual understanding, because the one thing you have to learn, like I've been studying spirituality all my life.
Yeah,
that's where that's where I am now. That's why I'm as successful as I have been.
You got to have something you believe in, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's not just something.
Okay.
A lot of us are blessed with knowledge, and knowledge is a very potent. It's like ammunition. To a weapon that can obliterate.
Oh yeah.
But the knowledge of when and how to use that power. See, when you click into why things happen, like for instance, why are we here? Are we here? Why are we here? Are you guys? Your job is to do a podcast, talk about weird shit.
One of them.
One of my many.
Hey, I'll tell you what. It's a pretty good pastime that I enjoy. That's why I keep doing it.
But think about this. The one thing that we're here to learn is why we're here.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, because we're and I'll tell you, I'll tell you my version of it. We are here to learn, to evolve.
Yeah.
And the reason, and what is our job while we're here? Well, the Bible or all the holy books will tell you to populate the planet. Basically, that's why we're here, to populate the planet.
Already.
Yeah.
However, if the planet is full, and a lot of times, the balance, because like if you look at nature will show you excesses. There's no limit to like in the Bible they talk about the famines that hit Israel.
Yeah.
I mean Egypt when Moses was when the Jews were captive. And, of course, this is all written. This is like a movie. But they had all the pestilence, and they had all these like global warming, like we're having now.
Yeah. If
you look at it's not arbitrarily, it's just things just doesn't happen. Oh, well, the hurricanes are just happen, or the earthquakes just happen. All that shit happens.
Right.
What's happening in our physical world? This is a physical world that we live in. That's why it's full of pain. And the reason it's full of pain is because pain shows us where we have to how far we can go with something before we start feeling warning signs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back now, why is that? Because in the spiritual world, there's no want, need, or desire at all, and the spiritual world is very real. However, there's nothing to learn in the spiritual world.
Yeah.
When you're in the spiritual world, you're just a spirit. You're love.
You're just hanging.
There's no. You're not looking for shelter. You're not looking for food. You're not looking for companionship. You're not looking for any of that. You just are, and that's what we are. We just are. And what I figured
That's why
out,
it's peaceful.
Yeah.
what I figured out is that we are pure energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to divide the world, now this is between us,
Of course.
because you're asking me. Because one thing I learned is that you can't give anybody anything unless they're expecting it in one way or another. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like knowledge is something that people have to acquire.
Yeah.
You can't give them. You can give them directions, say to Disneyland.
Yeah.
2 seconds later, they're asking somebody else because they forgot what you said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the way people are, you see. So everybody learns by experience. You know, when you're a kid, someone tells you, don't touch that stove, it's hot, you'll get burned. And there's every kid that I've ever known has always got a scar somewhere where they figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They touched this, so they learned. That's our physical world. Now, what are we here to do, to learn? Think about this. What is the one thing that all parents have in common with their kids? All parents.
Stressed out.
They try to teach them. They try to teach them and they try to guide them so that they don't make the same mistakes that they did when they were a kid.
There's a phrase that every parent uses at one time or another, or a lot of times. Clean up your room. Ever heard that phrase?
Oh, yeah.
Clean up your room. It's a pigsty.
Yeah.
Clean up, hang up your, it's your room. But what your parents are doing is kind of telling you, clean up your shit, get your head together, get your priorities straight, everything else. Why? Because the parents want the kids to grow. They want them to grow and flourish and be happy. And hopefully, but we're not all here to do the same job. We're here for different reasons, every one of us.
Yeah.
But collectively, we got one thing in common, and that's our Earth that we're riding around, going through space. We're traveling through space right now, 1,036 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So every second we're in a new space.
Yeah.
Just in the cosmos. So in our minds, every second we can be in a new space because we're growing, we're learning.
Mm-hmm.
See that, but that's only in the physical world. In the physical world, whatever you're assigned to do, and by the way, you make your own assignments. This is my theory, is that when we die, we go to the spiritual world.
Yeah.
To collect, to figure out what we just went through, and to figure out what we have to do to further our education, because that's all we're doing. We're learning, we're evolving, and it never stops. And if you look at the galaxies, like I do every once in a while, I'm fascinated with Hubble space exploration, and now we got the new space or telescope that even shows more. And they figured out, some mathematician figured out, there are more galaxies in the universe than there are sands on Earth.
I believe that.
I fully believe that. That's insane.
Well,
I haven't heard that one
yet. If it's infinite, there's only going to be so much sand.
Yeah.
So, You know what I mean?
No, you just infinite means forever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Infinite just never
Sand
ends.
doesn't go forever. We're not on sand right now.
So just think about when you think of the cosmos. Think of Earth, how tiny Earth is. If you look at any galaxies, there's no Earth. There's suns, there's moons, there's stars, there's planets. Earth is so tiny, 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 tiny when it comes to things. But look how, and it's unique. This is why we're unique creatures. This is why, people are like the Elon Musk or whatever, they're always like, or the UFO people. Now, the UFO got shut down quite a bit. At least I remember like the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, it was UFOs from outer space. They got in fact, in New Mexico, they got a place where they thought they found a wreckage of a UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a skeleton and all that.
Is this
and
like
it's all
some like
bogus.
Rosedale thing or from like 1947? Oh, that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the I thought that was the one he was talking about. I was like, let me just make sure. Something like that.
Yeah. Well, again, back in the day, this is before what we're talking about now, the age that we're living in now. I was just watching Elon Musk talking about AI, artificial intelligence. And they're trying to they're trying to figure out what to do with it with AI. And
they got no idea where to put it.
But the answer is ask AI.
That's
what
wild.
to do.
You could.
Yeah.
I mean, but like,
AI.
what would AI say though? I'm trying to think.
Huh?
Trying to think about what would AI say.
Well, you're not that intelligent. You could never figure it out.
I can't read AI's mind. AI's got a mind of its own. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Well, no, AI is your mind evolved. Okay. That's all.
Essentially.
See, it's like talking about, like, I had to drop out of school eventually because of algebra. I could not wrap my head around algebra. But if you want to matriculate, you want to get to university, you have to be able to conquer math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I'm too.
Once you start putting those letters,
too much
in
of a writer. You see, math is the absolute.
Yeah.
That's why you can get a rocket ship to meet somebody in outer space at a precise time.
Yeah.
It's all about math.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the trajectory and so on. My mind is too literary.
Okay.
I'm too much into imagining things.
It's a left brain man.
Yeah, totally. But it's all cool because together. Here's the thing: as you get older, this is what I tell people when I do cameos. With age comes wisdom.
Yeah.
With wisdom comes restraint.
Mm.
Very important. Now because I'm like a high school dropout. That I never evolved to the other what do you call it, level. Right. Like Cheech has. Cheech grew up going to college.
Okay.
And like it was his thing. He just wanted to, like my wife too, Shelby. They did, if they're not taking classes or going to school, they're reading books. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're always furthering their education. On the other hand, I still don't know the lyrics to a lot of songs that I wrote.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I love some of those band name titles.
Yes. Yeah. Or the names of the pot strains. What are you smoking? I don't know. Pot.
Actually, Oh, while you bring up smoking, we were talking about spirituality earlier, and how we experience pain because we live in a physical world. For me, I feel it's because we are spiritual beings on a physical realm, so it's kind of like a fish out of water in a way, if you think about it. So that's why we experience as much pain as we do. But certain people, people they'll find ways around that. They'll open up their mind. They'll take shrooms. They'll find the universe. They'll find their purpose themselves. They'll smoke a lot of weed. One thing you talked about last time was how I always had this perception of you that you were this crazy stoner, always had a bunch of everything on you, always smoking a joint. And then you told us that you were the one toke kind of guy.
He listened to you about the one toke thing, by the way.
I did. That's where I'm getting to. So I used to smoke all day, every day, and I started doing what you did. I started just being that one toke guy, and it's helped. It's helped significantly because it expands you more. Because when you're so deep in that state for so long, it starts to nullify everything. But when you just take that one or two tokes and you just kind of get that little pep in your step here and there, it expands it significantly.
Well, it doesn't stop the normal the flow of information.
Yes.
You see, that's what I found. The one toke sharpens you up.
Yes.
Like you're tuning a radio station in, and ooh, you got it perfect.
Yep.
That's what the one toke does. It
Wakes
just
you up.
gets you.
Yeah. Kind of in like a
because
too much of anything is bad kind of way.
Well, too much it deadens it. It deadens an earth. Just like the Japanese or the Chinese say that when you sharpen a knife too much, you dull it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have to interrupt.
She wanted to say hi.
I have to say hello to you. First off,
Hi,
I'm Jerry
man.
Petito, sweetie, and I got this guy started here, and I'm older than them, so I've been watching you and knowing you way before these kiddies, okay? So listen,
Not wrong.
I'm not wrong, honey. I'm 62, so I love you. But listen, my book is, because you're talking about all this stuff, I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumb ass. So I went that route a long time ago, but here's the deal. Give me an interview with you. Promise me an interview with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Because my crowd is older, and they know you, baby.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
You're a legend to me.
We can talk on a different level.
You're a legend to me. Thank you.
Well, you know what? I've been the one over here getting to know you. So, you know what? I have that. I don't have 62 years, but I have that on me. So, but I want to.
You know what you guys have? You got all the computers and
That's fair.
and iPhones. I got a 3-year-old granddaughter
Oh yeah.
that she knows how to use my phone more than I do.
No, dude. Honestly, I got to tell you, because I got nephews and nieces that are on iPads all the time. Like my nephew loves his iPad, and he'll if you let him have it on too long, he'll ignore you and everything. But
Sure.
But I know what he's talking about. I see that because I didn't know how to work an iPad at 3 years old.
That's one thing that I think is one thing that I've been seeing going around online recently is people my age are starting to talk about how we're the first generation that was raised with the internet, and how it makes things very different. And one thing that I've noticed is I had a childhood before the internet. Internet started really blowing up when I was, or at least for me, when I was maybe around first grade, second grade, mid 2000s, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe 2010ish. But I had that childhood where, you came home from school, you read a book, you went outside, you found cool sticks.
I was
you played
going outside.
basketball with your friends on the street. But now I'm seeing the even younger kids. I call them the iPad babies, because you'll stick the screen in front of the kid. They'll play these advertised learning games, or they'll get lost on Netflix, and it's terrifying to see, because some people can't go without, some people can't eat a meal at their kitchen table without having YouTube pulled up on their phone to watch something. It's a very weird different kind of generation.
I'll also
we're in
tell
now.
you this: he's very creative. He's very good with Legos.
Really?
The 6-year-old kid. Nah, he can build like a lot of stuff on it, and like I feel like he's like a super creative kid. You know, he's also very into cars.
Ah.
But
So autism.
who knows?
Look at the world we live in now. Do you know that your kids, my kids, will eventually be going to museums to see what a gas car looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually just, I believe it was in Iran, they finally made the car that runs on water.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. The hydrogen.
Yeah. It finally
hydrogen.
exists. It is a gasless, electricless car.
Yeah,
you can put it on water?
Again, the water, it takes a lot of energy to get the water to be hydrogen.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And so but the electrical, the gasoline world, that's why we're at war. That's why Putin's at war, because the writing on the wall is that gas will be eliminated from the planet as soon as possible, because that's what's causing, the climate worries. Because people that's what I'm saying. This is what I was getting to with nature, and nature takes care of itself. The earth itself. You don't have to, like the do-gooders. We gotta clean up the earth, the plastic and the fish, and they're hurting the fish. And, everybody likes to. Everybody's a lot of people, and Trump is a good example of letting your ego devour you. Take over like a big monster in a movie, and your ego says, "I know everything." Listen to me, and we need gas, we need this, but we want to go back to the way the world used to be. No, you don't. Right. I not only watched 2.5 Men, but I was watching a television show called Rawhide, the cowboy show with what's the name
Clint
of the
Eastwood?
Cowboy?
I've never seen it.
It's not Clint Eastwood, is it?
Yeah, Clint
That's his
Eastwood.
name. Okay.
Yeah, he's in this movie called Wagon Train or one of those. Anyway, the big deal back then was cows. Cows. Yeah, they got a herd of cows and they want to steal them. We got to sell them. We got to. The farmers were. It's all about cows.
They're coming on our land. They're taking our cows.
Hey, and check it out. You know why there were so many cows back then? Think about it. Back then, there wasn't the population we got now. So it wasn't about food. Think about this. It wasn't about food. Why did they have all those cows? Do you know what the answer is?
Companionship?
Cow hides. The skin.
Stay warm.
No. The Industrial Revolution needed belts to run the machinery. And the only belts that worked without breaking were cowhides, leather. Wow. And so the Industrial Revolution needed all the leather they could get. And so that's why the West started out with herds and herds. They had thousands of cows roaming and fucking up the natives, their hunting grounds. They had a hunting ground that they wanted turkey or whatever, or bison or something. Just think about back in the day, the menu was running around wild, eating, getting healthy. The Sioux natives that lived off buffalo meat, they grew to be over 6 foot. They grew to be giants. Yeah, that's why they kicked the shit out of Custard. Because Custard went after these guys. These guys were way superior as human beings. So what Earth is going through? Earth is going through this evolution. We're learning. We're learning everything.
100%.
Yeah.
And, and we will always be here.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to
find a way.
You got to think about how far we've advanced in in the past, say, 10, 15 years, just because
Just
like
that.
I was raised in a time where I could give someone in China a phone call. I mean, when I was younger, you would get charged a hell of a lot for it. Now there are ways around it because, things have evolved. But I was never raised in a time where you could just get on a plane and not have to deal with a 5-hour line to make sure you don't have anything on you. Like I was raised, I was born in 2003. I was raised post 9/11.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't remember. I mean, I remember exactly where I was on 9/11. I was in my dad's left eyeball twinkling, saying, "I'm going to be here soon." Like
He's like, I'm on the way.
that's where I was on 9/11. I remember it like it was yesterday. But no, it's no, but it
Couldn't have been anywhere else.
it is a very weird time we're living in. So it makes me think if things are weird or are different, at least from my perspective. Even you're what, 8 years older than me? Even for you, it's got to be different. And for you and Ruben and everyone else, just depending on the age, it's just got to be so different. So
It is.
So I do have a question. I'm getting there. What today exists is something that you never could have imagined exist, whether it be the way we can communicate or how easy it is to get information, because there were certain things that got wrong. Back to the Future 2 spoke about flying cars in 2015. We never got that. But
Yeah.
Well, not cars, but anyway, that obviously it's not the best way to travel.
yeah,
Yeah.
The weather, everything else, the technology is there, but what we need to do, this is what we're doing, whether we want to or not. See, there's a lot of things we have no control over. Humans like to think, they have control over themselves. And I love like teenagers, teenagers, when they reach a certain point, where you can't walk in their room without knocking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where they're becoming their own person,
When they're letting some of their people go that weren't out here by 9/11 because they hadn't taken that deep dive yet.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everything on earth is a learning. It's for us to learn, not to get too comfortable. That's why the wealthy people, when they got that wealth, they like to think it'll never end and this is it, but no, it's going to end. It's going to end. And so whatever you do, whatever you are, it's your state of mind that determines whether or not you're going to come out the other side with something tangible.
Amen.
And what I mean by tangible is experience. Like I just came back from Italy, and to be honest with you, at my age, traveling, especially with the heat wave going on, and especially we were over in Italy, and they, the fires that we had here, they had fires over there. Airports were closed down. It was like traveling around the globe during this the worst heat wave in history, causing oceans to be over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
and I traveled. And what did I learn? First of all, I learned it's an adventure.
Yeah.
A great adventure. And that's why we're here. We're
Seeing
here to
something
learn.
new.
Yeah. Waking up in a strange room and trying to figure out where you are, where the bathroom is, and all that. It was such a great adventure. It could have been. And in some ways it was hell, being away from your comfort, But that's what I do now. I look at everything now as an adventure to learn.
You got to, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Hold on, because now I'm kind of curious to ask him. Just the fact that he brought up kind of like adventure. Like, where's somewhere that you want to go? And this might be the last question because I know Jerry's got to get her show on. So, like,
okay.
what's somewhere that like you would like want to go? Like, he just came back
No,
from
I'm definitely
Italy.
going to go.
I'm going over to
Definitely.
Phoenix for my honeymoon in December, and I'm super excited for that because that's the first time like I've gone somewhere like on a plane by myself. That's like not over to like go visit my parents or family or something like that. I'm like super excited.
I want to go. I want to go and spend time in Denmark.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, what the hippies did back in the 60s, I guess, 70s, they took an old military barracks and it was abandoned. And they turned it into like a hippie village.
Okay.
And it's there now. Marijuana has always been tolerated, they think.
Yeah.
Hard drugs, not so much, but they understand the hard drugs. So, but the marijuana culture is tolerated, and it's really nice. So that's where I want to go. I was in Amsterdam. I shot a movie in Amsterdam when weed was like at the height of its popularity in Amsterdam, and so I was there. I went through that whole experience. And that was back in the 70s, 80s. But now the world is changing, and cannabis, especially CBD, hemp, is legal all over the world. And now that President Biden has, they're changing the law to reschedule pot reschedule it to 3 instead of 1, what it is now.
Wow.
And that means that we can use our credit cards to buy.
That's beautiful.
So you can't do that now. And a lot of the pot shops are prime targets for thieves, to come and steal the ATM machines and shit.
Get my grams from Apple Pay. No, I mean, it does sound like a good thing, man.
It does.
But before you ask that last thing, I did kind of want to tell him, like, thank you. Like, I appreciate the fact that, when he comes on here, like, he spreads, like, a lot of knowledge, and he could do so for, like, days. And I just wanted to share how appreciative I am with that because, like, I never get through the questions that I ask for him, but I love it because, like, the knowledge he spreads. And it's great.
Well,
it's great.
You guys, anytime... Let's make a habit of doing this.
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I would absolutely love to get you back on. I mean, the first time was a great time. Full honesty, I was shitting bricks the first time.
No reason to.
Oh no, I very much was. No, but I mean, it's always lovely talking to you because I mean, I feel we agree on a lot of things as well, especially when it comes to like the world and the thing you said earlier, the thing I wanted to mention was you were talking about how like the world is just an adventure, and I mean I agree because it really is all about your state of mind and the mindset you have. Like just a quick story, this past Sunday, one of my buddies, he's going to the Marines, right? Because I'm 20, he's 19, it's that age where you start doing stuff like that, and he lives all the way up in like Simsbury, Connecticut. So that's 3-hour drive from me, but I don't have a car, so I was taking trains. One of the subways in the city didn't come, so I missed my train in Grand Central. And instead of being, it ended up being a 14-hour round trip, 8 hours getting there, 6 hours back, because I ended up missing my connecting train in New Haven to Hartford. But when I was waiting in New Haven and when I was waiting by the subway in the city, I just befriended a few homeless guys that were just hanging around. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't sit there like, oh, goddamn it, I missed my goddamn subway. This day's ruined. No, I mean, I could have done that. I very well had the opportunity to do that. But no, the day was just an adventure. It was a fun time. I mean, I had a weird Uber driver that was probably a pedophile, but, and he was definitely coked out, too. That's a story that's for the stage. But
another adventure.
That's why he was talking about.
But it was an
weird
adventure. It was a
shit.
fun time. You just got to go through life enjoying the things that you can enjoy. You know, not, oh, I'm late to this fucking party. It's, oh, wow, look, I've never really taken the time to look at this subway before. Or, oh, I haven't really looked at the Empire State, really. I know it's been there, but I've never really looked at it.
Well, you know what you're doing.
Living.
Yeah. It's very biblical. We were given 10 commandments. And of the commandments, there's one that most people ignore, and you've been doing it, and it's called judge not.
Right.
Now, think about this. If you sit down, say, like I did in Italy, to eat an Italian an Italian meal.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is, I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The best chefs in the world live in Los Angeles. Not the only chefs, but the best. Because why? There's money in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And whenever there's money, there's the best of everything. And so when people ask me, how was the food in Italy? I started making the same mistake I tell people not to make, which I started judging it. And I started saying, well, it was okay, but nothing like the food that we get in L.A., the Italian food you get in L.A. or New York. It's incredibly, Well, the truth is, we were in the tourist area in Italy. And so we were eating tourist food, And tourists are very, very, very boring. They don't like spice in their food. And so the tourist places, they don't spice up anything. And so you get this bland sort of touristy food. Well, as soon as I realized that I was judging, I stopped judging. And I stopped just enjoying.
Yeah.
Enjoying. And the good thing about food or eating or not eating is that it's never a crime not to eat.
Oh, hell no. I can attest to that one right there.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody is going through a learning process. My son, he gained about 50 pounds when his wife was pregnant. Oh, wow. And before that, he was all trim, looked like a male model. And then all of a sudden, he just got really big. But instead of, criticizing or bemoaning or anything, I said, it's an adventure. Find out what it's like to be big.
Find out what it's like to be nice and fat, nice and plump.
Yeah. I grew up skinny, and when I started bulking up, I liked it. I got heavy. Yeah, I got a big waist.
Comes with perks.
Yeah, I got all that, but I like the feeling, the power. But anyway, guys, I gotta go. So
listen, thank you, man. So much for coming on.
One more thing.
Oh,
because we had John Pavaromo on a few weeks ago. Does that name sound familiar to you? Because I think he did a podcast with you one time. John Pavaromo.
Oh, yeah.
He spoke very highly of you.
Yeah, he spoke very highly of you. He also suggested that we do a Cheech and Chong reunion on here. I don't know if that's something you're open to, but I wanted to make sure I put that out there. Pavaromo suggested that.
The Cheech would love that.
All right.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that.
Listen, I know you got to go. We have another radio show coming up after this one, so we got to get out of here for them to get on in here. But listen, just of course I speak for John when I say this and myself. Thank you so much for coming on, spending the time with us. It was a lovely time the first time, and it was also just as lovely, if not even more lovely this time. Always a wonderful time talking.
We talked about the universe for like a half hour. How could it not be?
Beautiful. No, but
okay.
just I think if there's one thing people should take away from this, just like we were all talking about, just what was it? Judge not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Judge not. Just live life. Chill out, vibe, and just have fun with what nature has for us.
Judge not.
Judge not.
That's right. Hot Tag Takes, Tommy Chong.
Have a great day, man.
Woo! We did it,
Hot
baby.
Tag Takes, baby!